everyone, it's Rachel from Sweet and Simple Home. Thanks so much for coming by today. I hope you guys had a wonderful Easter. So today I'm actually home today, I didn't have to work, and Clive is also home from school, and he just asked me, like he literally asked me if he could take a nap because he was feeling worn out, I think from Easter and all the activity and things over the weekend. So today I was thinking, I've got an hour, probably about an hour. I have to take advantage of the time when I have it. So I have an hour. What spring cleaning, what decluttering task can I get done in this hour? So I know there's probably lots of you like me. Either you have really little ones and it's like your time is not really your own, or you do work part-time or full-time. You know, we just have to take advantage of these moments while we can to get things done. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take you guys with me, just see what we can get done in this hour. So I'm going to take you to my kitchen. That's where I have the most things that are on my mind to do, and we'll see what we can get done. So this is where I want to start, in my kitchen. You see I have the kids' Easter baskets still out, so I'm going to need to move those elsewhere, have them kind of clear those out with whatever's left in there. But I have my little coffee tray, and I love this. I think this is a great solution if you don't have like a separate spot for coffee to go. For the most part, it works pretty well here. My problem is I'm really short, and you can't really tell on camera, but I can barely reach that. I am standing as close to it as I possibly can, and look, I can barely reach the glasses in there, and I have broken more than I want to admit because I can't really reach them, and then they go pop and break. I think that this needs to not be a functional cabinet for me. I'm just too short. So what my hope is to do something display like here. I don't have a whole lot of display space right now for all my cute little vintage things. So some of you had suggested that I take this door off, which would be a really great way to test this idea to see if it'll work, because it doesn't cost me anything just to remove that door and give this a shot. But what my hope is, like my long-term dream and hope, is that when we can afford to replace these countertops, they will need to be replaced at some point because they are quite damaged. But I would like this section to just be all one level instead of the two. This just becomes a place where things collect. And at our last house that we built, we just had a longer counter that extended, and these plugins were on the other side, so I could still plug in things like a crock pot or Instant Pot. You just put the cord in under, and then you don't see the cord so much too, which works out great. So that's obviously not going to happen for some time, but my hope is once we can do that, once we can have one level, that I could then find a really cool vintage hutch top, like an actual piece of furniture that would go up as high and as far over and kind of look built in. We have some funky things about this corner. There's this plug in here, a phone jack, and then a plug in here. And so there's just like a lot of those little things, you know, and so I have this little coffee bar sign up here because I've always kind of loved that. My sister got that for me at Magnolia. But I don't know, I almost feel like it maybe draws more attention to the uneven white boxes that are there. So I might try taking that down, see if that looks better to me. And I do apologize, the lighting's funky because we're in between two windows right now. I have a bowl of nice soapy water so I can clean as I go. And I'm going to get a ladder so I can clean this out and take off that door and see if I can't, you know, kind of play around with this idea of turning this into a display area. Okay, the cupboard is now empty. which is exciting. And I put out everything here so I could see it. Also make it easier if I need to do any decluttering. Though to be honest, we did declutter our mugs after Christmas, so I feel like what we have is pretty good there. It's more the drinking glasses situation. I used to have 6 of these. I'm down to 2. Yes, I told you I dropped things. And then these I used to have 7. I'm down to 4. And these also just are not the best for spilling at the table. They just tip easy for whatever reason. So we honestly just prefer a good old jar to drink out of. I feel like I will go ahead and get rid of those tall glasses. They just wreak havoc. When we use them, they always spill. So as far as our mugs go, we have some really cute mugs. I'll show you guys real quick. So my sister got these for us as like a housewarming gift when we moved here to Idaho. We have a his and hers Idaho mug. This is my favorite mug for tea. It is so big and like I like how it kind of tapers because it keeps it nice and warm. That was a Christmas gift to my husband from myself because he loves The Office, and I found that at Marshall's for $5 and gave that to him for Christmas. You guys have seen this mug. Found that at Goodwill. I love that one for a little cup of coffee. This one, book nerds out there can appreciate. The Amazing Dr. Ransom's Mug for Mortals. So let me know if you know who Dr. Ransom is in the comments, because C.S. Lewis fans, book nerds will appreciate that. This is just a mug that my parents were getting rid of that my husband and I snagged a few years ago, and he really likes this one for tea. That's my husband's teacup. And this one was a gift from my mom. It's not really the season for this. I usually tuck this away and pull it out in the fall. But it's been so cold here, I haven't really thought about that. So maybe I'll tuck this away until fall. And then we do have some wine glasses when we have company over. We like to have that as an option. And then we have some travel mugs. This one I need to find the lid for. If I can't find the lid for it, that might need to go. But that one my husband uses often, as well as this one, and he has another one with him right now at work. So there are all the glasses, and now where to put them. I have an idea. Okay, so this is the other side of the U of my U-shaped kitchen. This one would be for cups. Right now I have spices and just a few baking things in here. As you can see, it's not that full. We have the famous over the microwave tiny little cupboards that I just have some cookbooks stashed up there that need to be tidied. And if you hear kind of like a crashing sound in the background, the farmer who owns the property behind us is working on moving some cows today. So sorry about that noise. But this is the other cupboard, which has more baking stuff and is not full at all. This just has in the top container some cookie cutters. These two are empty. I need to combine what's in here with what's in here, free this up for glasses, and then give that a shot. See how that works for my family. So because I just moved 9 months ago, I know I don't have anything that's expired or overdue, but I probably have some things that could be combined. I think otherwise I'm just gonna kind of wipe down the little bits of spillage. I won't focus on, but there's some spillage back there of chili powder, and get the rest of the stuff out. So I'm gonna go through and clean this out now and see if I can't purposefully and meaningfully get this all organized. So many of you guys will remember this piece. This was a canister set that I got at $1 for a rummage sale years ago, and it was a favorite in my 1930s kitchen because, you know, the era and the color just worked so well. And I feel like in this kitchen with the color of cabinetry and whatnot, this just doesn't jive, but I still love the color and I love this piece, so I tuck it away in the cupboards now and still use it. But in the top, I have just some cookie cutters and nothing else. So I need to kind of go through some of the baking things I don't use very often, like maybe only at the holidays, to put in some of these, and just, you know, make this purposeful in that cupboard. So I'm going to work on that. So change of plans. I pulled out, you know, some of the things I thought would work well in here, and this doesn't fit. This is a sprinkle set that I got on, I think, 80% clearance. I always buy my sprinkles after season. I was thinking these would go in here, but this is just too big, and it hit me. I should use this to tuck away like the kids' treats and things. Those are things that I don't necessarily want out and seen in our pantry. So they have like all their little Easter treats right now. So I thought that I would make, since I have 3 kids, you know, I could have 3 levels like Molly, Liam, Clive, or just put the various kinds of treats in each section. And then I'll just need to rehome my cookie cutters, which is totally fine. I'll think on that and keep going on my project. So there's one level with one of my kids' Easter treats in there. So this might not be what this permanently is, but I think after Easter this is really nice. They can each put their Easter treats in there, and that can go in our pantry. So that's a great purpose for that. And then I can reuse the space for other things. Okay, so in decluttering, decided that it's probably time to let go of these. The style of cookie cutters that these are just don't work very well with my recipes. Like, they get stuck and then you're like trying to get all the stuff out. And I've tried different ways, like putting flour on them, putting oil on them, and it just doesn't really work very well. So I'm gonna let go of those two. And this set, I don't know if it's broken or what, but it doesn't work very well either. This little springy thing usually pushes in there. And I don't tend to make homemade cookies for Valentine's Day. I mean, I did a couple times, but it's not something that has become a tradition or anything. So I think I'm going to go ahead and let those go. I have our favorites and ones we use often in here. And I'm just using a little plastic bin I had on hand. These make great organizers if you buy lunch meat that come in containers like this. I use them all over my house to organize things. You don't have to go buy organizers, you can just use what you have. And I'm gonna tuck this in that weird cupboard above the microwave that I don't really have a purpose for. Okay, so this side I tidied up my recipe box and recipe cookbooks and then just put that little bin of cookie cutters on that side. So now this weird cupboard has a purpose, and it's not too much to manage as far as, you know, not being able to reach, because I will need a step stool. So now the moment of truth. Did my cabinet combining work? I think it did. My spices. I have lots of room with this little guy for to spin around. I have my bigger Costco spices. And this is just a little bowl with some pre-mixed cinnamon sugar, because that's a special thing my kids like to make on the weekends, a cinnamon toast. Who doesn't like that? On the middle one, I actually adjusted the shelf. I moved it down so that I could fit some of those taller spices in there, and things like baking powder, cornstarch, baking soda, my bread baking salts, vanilla, there's some yeast back there, some chia seeds. And then on the top, I even had room to put some of our bread baking supplies and things like toothpicks for measuring the doneness of a cake. And behind the cocoa powder are my sprinkles. So definitely all fit. And I feel like it's not too different from what I had before, so I'm sure it'll function. And now I can move all the drinking glasses to this cupboard that I can reach. So there you go, there's all the drinking glasses that I have. I went ahead and decluttered those tall ones that always fall over. And so I definitely have room to add another set of some sort there. And then even an extra shelf. So those definitely fit. It's now the question, where do I put the coffee mugs? But again, I have an idea. So I have this really thin cabinet next to my sink that's underneath where my coffee stuff is. And this is where we've been storing things like our tea and our coffee and our coffee grinder. And I thought, why not put our mugs there too? So everything fits pretty well, and we'll see if this ends up working, if we hate like having to reach in there to grab a mug. I'm not sure. I kind of put the ones at the front that we use the most so that, you know, it's not a pain to reach towards the back. And then the tea that we don't use very often and the sweetener we don't use very often in the back. On the upper shelf, I switched out the tea bags to a better basket. These just fit better in this. They're kind of flop over in the other one. Travel mugs go to the back. I've got the Starbucks coffee way in the back. We'll see if my husband wants it or not. We can give it to someone else if he doesn't. And then I have our little coffee grinder, which we love and use all the time, and the bags of coffee that we're currently working through. So now I'm going to go get a screwdriver and see if I can't get the door off and go from there. All right, I got it off. There was no way for me to safely film it. I'm up on a ladder and everything, so I took it down. I got it off, and it is all open now, ready for me to put out some pretty things to display. Okay, the sun's starting to go down and I'm losing my light, but I thought I'd just show you what I've done so far. And I still have those blue plates hanging to the side and my lovely vintage tablecloth hanging above my kitchen sink. So I feel like it's definitely coming together. I do still hope someday I can get an actual like hutch top to put here. But I just want to say thank you for those of you who suggested this as a placeholder. I think it's going to work great for the time being, and I love that I can have a spot now for my really pretty mixing bowls. I had this one and this blue one on top of the fridge, which again is hard to reach. So I have here a little bread baking pan that's this beautiful green color with some vintage teacups inside. I have my lemon juicer and a milk glass pitcher, and at the top I have some baking pans. I love those. They're the Staub brand. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Staub. My husband got those for me for Christmas 2 years ago. I have my great grandma's platter in the back one of those little pottery pitchers I found at Goodwill, and some vintage cookbooks and household books. So I'm really, really happy with how that came together. Well, thank you guys so much for coming along with me today as I tackled some cleaning and decluttering and reorganizing of my kitchen, and thankfully even a little decorating. So I hope this was fun. I did manage to get this all done in about an hour and a half, which I'm just so grateful for. It's amazing what you can bust out when you put your mind to it. I hope you guys are all enjoying your spring and taking those little moments to fuss about your house and get it looking the way and functioning the way that you want it to. If you're new here, I hope you'll hit that red subscribe button. Come back for more. I have lots to share with you this coming spring and summer. I look forward to sharing hopefully some yard sale hauls pretty soon. You guys take care, and I'll be back with more soon.